Good evening, Bisola-Mariam. We can hear you from here. Or is it my issue? Is it from my corner? I don't know if it's from my end. I can't hear you at all, or probably you've not started.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
I can hear you.
okay. I don't know why you couldn't hear me before. Maybe it was network. I don't know really. Okay, let's proceed. Let's proceed. So what I've just talked about generally or basically is that in building your application story, you need to identify what your personal experience is, your relational, your situational, professional, and extracurricular experience. If you didn't hear that part, if you're watching me live on Zoom, you can actually catch the replay on my YouTube channel. I believe that when you're watching the replay, you should be able to hear me. You should be able to hear me. So let's proceed. The next thing I want to talk about. So now, once you identify what your application story is, it makes it easy for you to be able to even talk to a professor about your interest, right? For instance, there's this ebook, How to Write an Application Story to a Professor. And this is a simple tool that you can buy right now just to kind of test what you're learning. Because when you're learning something and you cannot apply them, it is most likely that you won't be able to get anything out of it. So if you're listening right now and you want to actually implement some of the things that I've taught, then you should actually get this book. So the number 4 step is identify schools with funding. Identify schools with funding. So how do you then identify schools with funding? You need to use keywords, keyword search, connecting with advisors, using what? A letter of introduction. And how do you connect with an advisor if you don't even know how to write an email to a professor? And that is why I would recommend that anyone who wants to get started right now should buy this ebook. It's just $1. So using keywords here means that you're using strategic words to search out courses that relate to your interest. Based on what I've shared so far, if you go online and go to Google and type a keyword that relates with your interest, then you're most likely going to be able to begin to gradually identify the right information or the right schools or programs that actually connect to your interest. Now, let's proceed. We're running out of time so that I can take questions. So for those who are interested in working on this application by themselves, I have a book called the Scholarship Guaranteed Hack Book. So this book typically is sold for $40. But for those who want to take action right now, the book is selling for just $10, right? Just $10 right now for the next 1 week. How much is $10 in Naira? That's just 5,500. But the actual normal price is 5,500 in 4 places. That's about 22,000 Naira. So you can actually save 15,000 plus by buying the book right now at the discounted price of 5,500 or $10. With a copy of this book, you automatically join my academy. Whether you buy the $1 offer or the $5 offer, you join the academy immediately. Whether you take the $1 offer or the $10 offer, you become a part of my academy. But the difference between those who buy the $1 offer and the $10 offer is that those who buy the $10 offer are actually getting the entire book with letters of introduction templates, with statement of purpose templates, resume and recommendation letters samples, right? That's one. For those who are taking the $10 offer, which is normally sold for $40, then you get access to all these resources, including access to my community. But for those buying the application story book or the letter of introduction book or any of my $1 offer, they only get to join my community And of course, everyone becomes a part of that community depending on whatever product you buy. So the number 5 step is connecting with professors. So you need the letter of introduction to do that. And you need to be able to think PCG, highlighting what you want to do and connecting that with what the professor is doing. That's very important. If you cannot connect that, there's basically nothing you're doing. There is basically nothing that will change, right? You need to be able to connect your story with that of the professor, meaning that you need to know what your personal, common, and global objectives are, and then connect all of those 3 key things with the interest area of the professor. Prepare to apply. That's the next step. You need to prepare to apply. Oh, get ready to apply. Put your letter of introduction together and start sending them out. Get your transcript ready. Start sending them out. Statement of purpose. Prepare them and start, putting them together. Your reference letters, very important. Standardized test. Yes, it is possible that this test can be waived, but that is only if you know where and how to find those schools with waivers. Application fees, you will pay them. But if you know the schools that offer these waivers, you can actually position yourselves for those schools and for such programs. Now, all of these things that you want to use to build your application, the letter of introduction, statement of purpose, reference letters, template, standardized test hacks, application fee waiver hacks, as in where can you find these cheats, strategies that would help you avoid paying test fees or avoid paying application fees. You would find some schools with such options in my book. So if you want to get the book right now, this is the information on the screen and you don't want to waste time. Let's move on. The next step is you want to hunt down schools with waivers. You want to begin to hunt down schools with waivers. Hunting down schools with waivers is very important. And that is one step that you want to take right now, right? You want to take that step right now. The thing is, a lot of people do not know that it is actually possible for them to begin this application even right now that I'm speaking. Now, when you procrastinate, you get nothing done. But when you focus on doing what you have to do, when you have to do it, especially with someone like me in your space, you are most likely going to get your result. So hunting down schools with waivers is very, very crucial. Now, count your costs. It is very important that you put your numbers together. How much money do you need to? What are the things you need to pay for? Transcripts, test scores, visa fees. Some people cannot change their minds about the courses they want to apply for. And so for such people who are not willing to go for programs with waivers, most likely they have to what? How do I put this? Most likely such group of people would really have to just also focus on as among, in addition to other things, they will need to plan to pay for their tests, for their standardized tests, right? So for instance, I've met people who say that, you know what, I don't want to go for a program with a test score waiver. I want to go for that program that doesn't, offer a test score waiver. And so when they decide that, then they need to plan to actually pay for these exams. Transcripts, no one will pay for your transcript for you. You need to get those transcripts from those schools where you've gone to, whether it's your secondary school or your university, you need to get those transcripts. Visa fees. Nobody pays visa fees for you, especially when you're aiming for school-specific opportunities. So for the school-specific opportunities, you have to pay your visa fees. Visa fees is definitely important after you have actually proven to the embassy that in your application, in your online application, for instance, if it is the US schools that you're aiming for, once you get proof of funding, the proof of funding is what then makes you eligible to actually apply for visa. Proof of funding and admission offer. So if the school gives you admission and also gives you funding, then you can put this document together when you apply for a visa. And to be able to apply for a visa, you need visa fees, right? And when you get your visa, you probably would have to pay, not probably, you would have to pay for your air tickets. The air ticket thing might be something you have to take care of yourself. You could crowdfund to actually pay for your air ticket. One thing you need to understand is people are only willing to support you. And that is why I didn't add these air ticket fees here, because a lot of people will support you with that once you have actually crossed the order of applying, writing test, and getting a visa. So I highlighted the 3 things that you would probably have to take care of yourself. I didn't highlight the etiquette part because a lot of people would be willing to support you in that regard. So when you're done, the next thing is you want to plan for your visa interview. I already talked about that. You need proof of funds to go for a visa interview. You need admission letter to go for a visa interview. When you get your visa, then you're eligible to migrate, right? And you need to go to, when you're leaving, you have to get to a place called port of entry. Port of entry is more like a checkpoint before you get into the country or the state where you're going, right? Every country has that. So I'm going to make some quick announcement at this time. Okay, if you're just joining, you're welcome. I'm going to be taking questions after my announcements. So announcement. So I have what I call a 6-month coaching plan. I have a 6-month coaching plan. So your goal is to work with me and actually get this done in the next 6 months. Now, when I say coaching does not mean that a coach will do the job for you. A coach is not an agent. A coach is not a study abroad agent. So coaching basically means that I am supporting you. I am guiding you. It does not replace you. I do not replace you. I do not do your work for you. But it means that I'm going to help you and make your journey easier. And that is the beauty of it all. And so with my 6-month coaching plan, what do you stand to gain? What exactly do you stand to gain? Number 1, you get access to me for 6 months in a private Zoom meeting on a monthly basis. I am going to be giving you clarity per time. Now, in addition to this 6 months access to me, you're going to get immediate access to all of my books, all of my online books, all of my books that relate to what you're doing. I say all of my books because I have actually released several ebooks in addition to the most popular one, which contains everything, which is what's the hack book. The hack book typically sells for $40 or $39.9. But if you become a part of the 100 Scholars Club, which is my 6-month coaching program, you get unrestricted access to this book and you can access it any day, anytime. In addition to that book, I believe that videos tell more than what a book will say to you. And so I have a video course with transcription, with screen sharing option that you can engage with. So my video course is basically a program that I've created back in Nigeria and that is very much relevant even now. So the video course is the video option of my book. So you're reading a book and you have a video that breaks it down. As you're listening to me and hearing me right now, right, you would hear me and listen to me, and you see people ask me questions in that video course. That video course was actually a live recording of a live class somewhere in Nigeria before I came to the States, right? So that video course is something you want to have access to. Many of the things that you would find on my YouTube channel that you probably like and say, wow, this is really great. You can't even compare the value you find in this online course with what you're getting on my YouTube channel. The most important thing you also need to bear in mind is the online course is highly interactive, meaning that as you're going through the online course, you can drop comments, you can share your thoughts, you can take a short quiz, it is very interactive, right? And I'm going to be showing you what that interface, what that looks like in the next part of this session for those joining live. And so if you want this course, you also will not just get access to me for 6 months. You won't just get access to my book and video course. You will also get access to templates. I have worked with several scholars, and when you have access to the template kind of makes your work easy. You know that everything in this life, when you have a template, your life is generally easier. And so having access to these templates makes your life really easy. Like you're just doing the thing easily. Now, these templates are not just going to be available to you. I would also offer you one-time professional review of one letter of introduction, one statement of purpose, one resume, and a sample of a recommendation letter that you can share with your potential referees, right? So these are the key documents that you need for your application. And I'm not just going to give you templates to help you build them. I would also offer one-time professional review of these documents in the first and second months of this coaching. Now, having said all this, you might be wondering, why should I trust you? Why should I sign up? Is this really going to solve my problem? Well, you don't have to take my word for it. Along the line, I'm going to be sharing with you video testimonies from people who have used my methods and that have gotten results at different times. And so don't trust me, just trust the process. Trust what people are saying. And I think that is more important than you listening or trusting me, right? And so I'm going to be sharing some testimonies, and I will drop the links of those testimonies in the comment section, especially for those watching on Instagram, so that they can catch those video testimonies and actually have an idea of what others have said about my product and services. So if you want to enroll right now to be a part of the 100 Scholars Club, instead of paying $1,000 or $999, you can have access to this program for only $99. How much is $99? $99 or approximately $100 is basically what? 50,500 naira in Nigerian naira. You can actually convert $100 into your own local currency and pay into the link that I will be sharing in the comment section, right? I'm going to be sharing some links in the comment section for those watching on Instagram. Now, for those of you who are watching here live on Zoom, this is the link. This is the payment information. Now I am done talking. I've talked about my ebook. You can also get the ebook if that is what you want. You get access to to support on our Facebook Academy. And of course, you also get to join the Telegram Academy. Now, if you get, this is the $10 ebook. If you just want to just get started and you're not sure whether you're really ready yet, getting my beginner's guide. I release a copy of I release on a weekly basis a $1 ebook, and you don't want to miss buying them. So if you get an ebook you get lifetime access to my Facebook community. How much is the ebook? It's just $1, right? It's just $1. Now let's talk about how you can connect with me. On Facebook, I am Bisola-Mariam. My Facebook page is Bisola-Mariam. My LinkedIn page is Bisola-Mariam. My Instagram and Twitter handles is Bisola-Mariam_SDG10. But on Twitter is bmariam_SDG10. On my YouTube channel is www.youtube.com/Bisola-Mariam. So you want to find me and talk to me in these different places. Those are the places you can see me actually. So I'm ready to take all your questions right now. If you have questions, please jump in or mute yourself and ask me all the questions you want to ask. I'm still very much here. Questions. Ask me all the questions, please. Questions? Or you may want to type. If you don't feel comfortable unmuting yourself, you can type. You can type your questions. Now, the 100 Scholars Club enrollment has started, but the early bird fee, which is just $100, would close by the end of October. The $100 club membership has started, but by the end of October, the enrollment fee would close. I mean, the $100 enrollment fee will close, right? And the $1,000 enrollment fee would kick off or would open. So if you want to join the early bird and take the offer right now, pay right now. That's what I will tell you. And if you want an instrumental payment plan, you can request for that by sending a message or sending an email to that email address listed on this flyer. So the email address is the studyabroadconsulting@gmail.com. You can send an email to get, to ask for an instrumental payment plan prior to the time that this program will kick off. This program will start in December, but from the month of November and December, the fee goes from $99 to actually $999. So you don't want to dull yourself, I tell you. A lot of people don't like to take action when things are cheap. When it becomes 10 times the price, there is no going back. So you want to take action right now. Okay, so let's go on. Do you have questions? I have the next 10 minutes to take questions. If you have questions right now, please jump in right now and ask me all your questions before we leave here. I'm waiting for questions. You got questions? Anyone who has a question? I'm waiting. Okay, no one asked question then. If you don't have a question, maybe we'll wrap up and leave.
Yeah, I have a question. Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, I have a question, but it's not concerning the 100 Scholars Forum.
It's what?
It's not concerning the 100 Scholars Forum.
It can be anything. I mean, ask me question on anything per se. So it doesn't have to be about you enrolling. The
I chatted with the
chance to ask questions.
Okay, thank you. So I want to ask a question that how do you tailor your write-up towards this question that ask that why are you interested in your chosen field? So
I don't know if understand. You get now it depends on what you're applying for, because I don't know what you're looking for, so I can't advise you. That's a specific question, right? So you can probably share a little bit more in 30 seconds so that I can address that question in another 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah, it's concerning a particular program that helps you to develop your skill and also prepare you for future opportunities. So now
what kind of skill? What kind of future opportunity? Be specific. There are several future opportunities, right?
Yeah, career opportunity now.
Okay.
Yeah, career opportunity. So the program is to train and to also empower applicants towards the future opportunities. I mean, in terms of career now. So how do you tailor your write-up to suit the program?
Well, I'll still say it still goes back to an application story. I don't have a full picture of what you're talking about, so I would only talk based on what makes sense to me, right? So what I hear you say is you're applying for something, and then they're asking you, how do you connect what you want, what you're applying for with your future, right? With your future plans, right?
Yes.
So basically, let me assume that I am applying for a job in a communication, department. and then they say, okay, how do you tailor this position to your future goal, right? I need to first talk about my current goal before I actually talk about my future goal. If I have an understanding of what it is called an application story, I can build a story for anything, whether it's a job interview. And I mean, that's where your storytelling skills come to play. So maybe you've always loved the idea of helping people communicate better. Maybe you grew up seeing that people don't like to talk about, people find it difficult to express themselves and they always get into conflict with other people. And you were like, you had that kind of difficulty until you started mastering the skills of communication. And so maybe your goal is you want to become a communicator, right? Or work with people who are looking to improve their interpersonal communication skills. Then you need to connect your own difficulty with the solution or the success story you now have, with your current skill and with your goal. And then identify, does that opportunity that you're applying for, will it in any way contribute to helping you develop that skill even more? Or does that position offer you an opportunity where you can apply that skill that you're currently building? I don't know if this makes sense to you.
Okay, yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Because I didn't really understand where you're getting at. If, for instance, you said something like, oh, I'm applying for a job, you said career is so broad, right? So you didn't give specific pointers, and I could only explain to the level that I understand, right? So if I'm to tackle that question, I would go back to, you said what?
Okay, it's actually a fellowship program, and they are interested in.
You are not sharing all the facts. You're just saying things one by one. And I mean, maybe even if you think it's private and you don't want to talk about it, maybe because others are here, maybe you should sign up for a private program or get a book or, watch a couple of videos and do this privately. Because I can only talk based on what you share. I don't know if that makes sense. I'd like to answer another question now.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So someone said, from all the agents and school that I saw and wrote, they told me I cannot do masters with HND, but I can do pre-masters. An HND is a 2-year program, just like an OND, right? Who has this question? Is the person in the room? Please, if this is your question and you're in the room, can you please be unmuted so I understand what you're trying to? What I can just say is, as a straightforward response, is that you need to, the truth of the matter is you have a degree already. So if you combine your OND results and your HND results, that's a 4-year program. So rather than pay attention to what people are saying, why don't you get the facts yourself? I mean, email a professor, email a school, and ask them what your chances are, considering the fact that you have an OND and an HND. How do you then get them to know what you're capable of, where you currently are in your academic journey? Then you need to attach copies of your HND and OND, or your OND and HND results. I mean, the transcript for these 2 different programs or these 2 different levels of studies, and then upload them and attach them to the letter of introduction that you're sending to the person you're emailing. And can I go with my dependent if what you want is a pre-masters, yes, you can go with your dependent as long as you can provide proof of funding for them. Nobody will tell you not to go with your dependent, especially if it is clear that you can support yourself and support your dependent, and you would be able to actually, not just financially now, emotionally and physically be there for your dependents. So yes, you can actually apply for them. But of course, it's not like a linear, the answer is not linear. It's not like a yes. There are a number of factors you need to bear in mind. And if you watched my video on my YouTube channel where I talked about what are your chances when you have dependents and you want to go study abroad? I made a video on that, and you can find that on my channel. I just dropped the link to that video in the chats so that you can find out more about it. So I'm going to drop the link to my YouTube channel on for those on Instagram also. Okay. www.youtube. I'm going to be sharing a video testimony from those who were previously enrolled in one program or the other, or those who bought one book or the other, just to kind of get the support. Before I do that, well, let me do that quickly, actually. Let me do that. So I'm taking you to where my, so I'm taking you to YouTube. I want people who can unmute themselves, please, to ask questions. Please unmute yourself if you have questions. We still have 5 minutes. So this is the YouTube channel. Some of the questions that you're asking me, I have answered them. You can watch some of those videos. And there's a video on how to build a letter of introduction. You can also find this there, or how to even, craft an application story. If, of course, you want that book. Okay, so there's actually another offer. Well, I can just paste that in the comments. Let me share with you some of those testimonials from people. Okay, let's do this. You may want to watch this. I'm copying the link right now. I'm dropping it in the chats. Okay. Okay, give me a moment. I'm trying to share this. I want to share sound. Okay, let's do this.
David Adebayo, an Erasmus Plus scholar, currently in France, Strasbourg, for my program on European tribe culture. So I want to talk about Bisola's book. I read the book back then in February, and I wanted to apply for so many scholarships back then. So I heard about US scholarships, they offer teaching assistantship and such assistantship, but I didn't want to apply because I heard I had to pay application fee. Then
Okay, that's one of those testimonials. Can you even hear? Can you hear?
But fortunately, I found a book on Facebook, and I emailed the initial book to me. So when I read the book, I realized that all the ideas I had about the US scholarship application are not really true. That there are some schools that offer a fee waiver, and some of them do waive the IELTS. So that's how I went through the list of schools to give it. So one of the schools, we have Brown University. I emailed them. I wanted to apply that time. I got in touch with the students, and she gave us tips on how to apply for US schools. So at the end, I later got a PhD offer at the University of Alabama, and I used the tips, the tip that she gave me there to apply for the scholarship. So I got the PhD offer with the funding, but I later decided to come for Erasmus Plus. Then later, hopefully, I will go back to the US for the PhD. So thank you very much. Good luck to everyone.
Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm going to go back. This is another video.
Hi, my name is Mariam Adegwega and I'm a prospective MSc student. So hosting like a webinar. So I attended the webinar and I've been added to her contact on WhatsApp since then. So she held a class at one point in time and I just thought to just give that class a try. Like I've been sending messages, not like I know that she's going to be hosting a class on letter of introduction, how to write a letter of introduction. I'm like, okay, let me just give it a try. It's not hard, it's not bad to try. Trust me, after this class, I learned something called PCG formula and I tried it and I sent a message to a supervisor and I got the response the same day. Pay attention to the pictures I'm sharing. Pay attention to the dates. So I just wanted to share. It's not like I've been paid for this. I wasn't paid for this. Like I know there are so many people like me out there, and I feel like this could really really help you. Don't try to work it out alone. Just reach out to someone who knows it. And I'm glad I actually reached out to Bisola-Mariam because she has been more than helpful. If you are needing help or applying for school, just contact this woman. She knows her onion.
Awesome. So that would be all. If there is anyone who has any other question, we still have about 3 more minutes. Please just jump in and ask me questions. I'll just be checking the charts and then I will show you what exactly the online course looks like. So I'm waiting. If you have questions, I still have 1 to 2 or 3 more minutes before we leave here. Let's see those who have questions. If you have questions, I can still take them. I can still take questions in the chats. Who is any other person who has questions or some thoughts? Okay, so in the absence of question, I would say that we have come to the end of today's meeting. But if you have questions that you probably want to ask, this video's replay will be available on the YouTube channel. But most importantly, I want you to understand that nobody gets anything done without first trying to get clear about the importance of your goal or how urgent it is. When you know how urgent your goal is and how important that plan is, you would prioritize that plan and you would make the necessary sacrifices. And when you do, definitely you would get the reward for your hard work. And I think that would be my encouragement for anyone who is listening, right? It is possible to get a fully funded scholarship, but if you do not act, if you do not take a step, if you do not work with someone or people who know what to do and how to support you, you cannot get anything done. You cannot get anything done. And this is something you would get not just by buying my $1 offer, which of course can be really helpful. You can get support through my $10 ebook, or you can even get more support by joining the 100 Scholars Club. And most importantly, whether you join the 100 Scholars Club or you take the $1 offer or you buy the $10 offer, what is very important here is how much this is worth for you. When your mind is telling you that you cannot win, there is no amount of coaching, there's no amount of products or the number of courses or whatever it is you sign up for, nothing will change. Everything begins in the mind. And so I would encourage you, and that is one thing that I do with everyone, whether those in the Scholarship Guaranteed Academy or depending on which of my community you belong to. I always prioritize, I always emphasize, I always make it I just focus on teaching people why it is very important for them to work on their mindset, because everything you would ever dream of becoming starts from the mind. Every war you would ever think of winning starts from the mind. If you cannot win a war first in your mind, then there is no way you can actually win that war, you know, even, in the physical. And so you must begin to think like a spiritual being that you are and ask yourself, what can you do to get your goal off the ground? It starts from working on your mindset, believing that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. And I'll leave you all with this video that I'm going to be sharing so that you watch it briefly, so you get an idea of what you gain in the scholarship guaranteed boot camp, which is attached to the 100 Scholars Club. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and I'll see you some other time. Take care. Bye. So I'm going to be sharing, this is the last thing as I close, and this will be on display even when I leave. Hi everyone, and my name is Bisola-Mariam. I'm so glad to have you join this session. I'm glad that you have taken this step to begin the journey to a guaranteed scholarship. I just want to assure you that this course is money back guarantee course, and I'm not going to blow that trumpet. So as we go on, you will realize yourself, and of course at a point there is going to be a call to actually find out whether you've gotten value or not. And if you haven't, you can request for every dime that you have paid for this session, and of course with everything that we may want to give you withdrawn. All right, so having said that, why should you listen to me? I always like to start on that note. And the reason why I think it makes sense to start on that note is because a lot of times there are several people who are into this study abroad endeavor. And so when they go about trying to encourage or coach people, they don't usually tell people the entire process, or they rather say, okay, there are 1,001 schools that we can send applications to on your behalf, but they don't show you how you can do it on your own. And for someone like me who has who has gone through the process, I'm here to show you how you can do it by yourself without paying agents a lot of money, and making sure that you don't only learn the strategies, but if possible, you can equip other people and show other people the way. So thank you everyone for coming. And the course is the Scholarship Guaranteed Bootcamp, and I say that in this course, I will teach you the exact strategies that got me a fully funded scholarship after 7 years of failures, and how you don't have to go through all that I've gone through, so that you can cut the corner, reduce your stress and make sure that you get this going within 6 months or even later on. Now, of course, I always say 6 months because if you're ready, dogged, and able to this is something that can happen within a 6-month period. In the first module, we'll be looking at mindset and mental shifts. Mindset and mental shifts. In this module, I'll be talking about demons, doubts, and then I'll talk about myths. Now, when it comes to applying to schools abroad, we all have different things that people have said to us. Some people may have told you that, studying abroad is for the rich, studying abroad is for people with first class, studying abroad is for people. In fact, people say so many things that make it look like studying abroad is not something that can happen for an average person, or usually maybe somebody with an African background. Now, I say that because studying abroad is expensive. And so when people think about the monetary value or the cost implication of the process, they are worried, they are anxious, and they say, well, maybe I shouldn't even bother, maybe I shouldn't even start That would be